which is also a reminder for me to let you know, because I'm not sure I've mentioned this yet. We've started putting some of the recordings on the YouTube channel of St. Mary's, and I need to remember to send you all the links to those if I haven't done that yet. But we are keeping the recordings of the past meetings. We thought we'd keep them for a year and a half or so and give everybody a chance to catch up if they'd like to, but then we probably would start deleting the older ones as we go along to make sure we have enough space for everything. But we can discuss the utility of keeping them if people think rather we should do that. So welcome, officially welcome. We can get started now to our ICBEC plenary meeting. Thank you all for being here. As we've tried to do in some of the past meetings, we'd like to help get this group to get to know one another, because we've only been meeting online so far since July 2021 when we got started again. And we've done that by trying to have some individual member presentations. We've done a few of them at the last meetings, just sort of trying to get to know our different institutions and such. And I'd be happy if anyone would like to do that at a future meeting. Please just let me know. But we thought what we could do today was try to get to know each other a little bit better on a more personal level, get to know the actual members who are participating in the ICBEC consortium. So we thought we'd try going into breakout rooms. I'm not sure. So looking at the registration, I thought there were more Spanish speakers, but it seemed, are there any Spanish speakers beside? I see Leire. I don't know if any of the Brazilians would prefer to go in a I was thinking of dividing into a Spanish room and an English room, but can you raise your hand if you would go in the Spanish room?
But I can understand a little bit of English and Spanish.
Antonio, we can hear your microphone.
Really?
Hi, Antonio. Okay, I see one for the Spanish room. That's it. Tatiana would go in Spanish. Leire, Camila, Spanish. Okay, then let's try to go into one Spanish and one English so far. I see more people joining, so we'll see how big the English room gets. But let's start by having you all. Are you all familiar with how to move into the breakout rooms? I'm going to open them now. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. I should tell you what we're going to do in the breakout rooms. So we have Karen and Colin, who are going to help out in the English room, and Leire in the Spanish breakout room. And like I said before, the goal is to help us just get to know each other a little bit, just a small icebreaker. So the first question that you're going to be asked to answer, and just go around and say one thing. It's not, you don't have to think too hard about it, but something that you're excited about. So it could be ICBEC or work related, or it can be completely non-related. It's up to you. But please go around in the group and share what you feel like sharing on that. And then we'll go around again and ask you to give a little bit more information about how long you've been working in co-op business education and what you're hoping to gain from participating in ICBEC. So just a quick icebreaker to help us start to meet, and actually we can put names to faces because we have that privilege with online meetings, but at least to hear from everybody just a little bit. So let me, maybe somebody who's, yeah.
I was just going to ask, can you create 2 separate English rooms? Just because otherwise we'll be too many people.
Yeah, I have already. And that was my next question. Is there somebody who's more adept at Zoom? I don't see the button anymore for my breakout rooms. Now that I started the recording, it seems to have disappeared, and Oh, I got it. Never mind. Okay. So I'm opening the rooms now. How about Karen, you go in English 1, and Colin, you go in English 2, please. And folks, just try to divide yourselves. If you get into one of the English rooms and it seems like there's too many people there, you can manually go in the other one. And if this doesn't work out, then I can go through and move people around, but hopefully you'll be able to put yourselves into the room. So I'm going to go ahead and open them, and we're going to give ourselves 15 minutes to do this. So here we go. Okay, so you should be able to, right? Can you go?
Yes, Alana, you
Yeah,
click
okay.
breakout rooms and then select one of the 3.
Okay. Okay, Leire, you should go in the Spanish. Okay. Okay, Tatiana, Natalia, you and Fabio, did you want to go in the Spanish? Roberto, you can go too.
Okay, no problem, Ilona. It's okay for
Okay.
us.
Okay, click on you have to click on the group you want to go in.
Breakout rooms. I can see
Yeah.
in Spanish. Okay.
Yeah, great. Go ahead.
Goodbye.
Okay, see you soon.
Natalia, I think I am supposed to be in English 1.
Fabio, you haven't moved yet. You want me to put you in the English? I can't hear you, Fabio. Fabio, I'm going to move you to English. Tatiana, I'm going to move you to Spanish. Antonio, would you like to go in Spanish or English?
I prefer English.
Okay, I'm going to assign you to a room. How come it didn't go? Antonio? Okay. Welcome back. Did you have a chance to meet one another?
Yes.
Yes. Did that work? We don't normally do this but I jumped in and out of some of the meetings, and it seemed at least like it's a chance to meet a handful of people. Did you know each other beforehand?
No.
No? Okay, great. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome. I hope that was a fruitful opportunity to get to know some of the folks around this imaginary table. Welcome, welcome. All right, thank you so much to Karen and Colin and Leire for the assistance in these groups. And I really hope that was a good chance for everybody to at least meet some of the folks here. So great, and I'll be looking forward to the next opportunity to meet more of you as well, since I sort of just jumped in and out of the groups. But thank you. All right, so I think we're all back now. I'm going to just share my screen a moment and move on to the next item on the agenda. I hope you've all have the agenda handy. I don't have it here to project, but I'll share the slides anyway. For those of you who don't have it, just to give you a brief overview of the rest of today's meeting, I'm gonna give you a brief update on the administrative and membership aspects, and then we've had topic groups that have met over the last months. There was one on online pedagogical resources, short education, executive education, and short courses, and evaluation. And we're going to have a report back from each of those groups. And then Rafael is going to speak to us for a moment about the Global Innovation Cooperative Summit in September in Montreal, where I hope will be an opportunity for as many of us as possible to meet. And then I would like, and in the evaluation presentation, we're going to hear from SPEC. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the organization that manages SPEC, but it's a software for student evaluation, and we're going to hear a presentation on that. And then I would like to propose to you all the use of the Lumio platform. I'm going to show you how that works, and that will be the close of our meeting. So I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, we've already. It's not letting me. Okay. Okay, so we've done all this. Okay. So for those of you who are sort of newish or haven't been here in a little bit, so I'm Ilana. I'm serving as the secretariat for ICBEC, for those of you who don't know me yet. And I just wanted to come back to some of what the main priorities that we've established over the last year. We have a working group, and some of the members of the working group are here today. Some were unable to make it, but together with them, we've been working on moving the consortium forward. And the main activities have been in this last year and a half or so have really been to try to build the consortium in the first place. So we relaunched in July 2021. And as most of you know, we've been having our meetings every 3-4 months or so. And like I said at the beginning, we've been trying to give space to members to introduce themselves, introduce some of their programs that they have, so that we can all start sharing information and getting a better understanding of what's going on around the world in the co-op business education field. And from some of the surveys and the meetings that we had, we some specific topics were raised as being of interest to the members. And so we had, like I just said, these 3 topics set up, and we held those meetings throughout October to, when were they? October and November mostly, 2022. And we've been working on the follow-up and priorities from those meetings. You're going to hear a lot about this today. We're planning on an in-person meeting in 2023, which will be our first in-person meeting since the relaunch of this consortium. And we thought that September in Montreal would be a good time around the Global Innovation Cooperative Summit, and Rafael will tell us more about it later. Of course, the sort of overarching and priority of this consortium is the networking and the collaboration, but more specifically, trying to find areas of specific collaboration. We've been talking about maybe sharing resources that we use for online teaching. We've also had a proposal that we're working on now between FAVU Co-operative and Co-op College UK to do some cooperative challenge activities with youth and have them between different countries. And there's a lot of space for more ideas. So I definitely want to hear from all of you about that. And I hope that when we get together in September, it'll be a good opportunity to share some of those ideas and start working on them a little bit more concretely. And then, of course, information sharing. We often find ourselves reconstructing the wheel. So as much as we know what's out there around the world, we can start sharing resources and not redo everything every time. So in terms of membership, these are the confirmed members so far. And what does that mean? It doesn't mean these are the only organizations or schools that have participated in meetings or joined our meetings, but these are the ones who have responded saying, yes, we want to be a full member or an associate member or a supporter. And if there's anybody who still needs the descriptions of those, please just send me a message and I'll send that out. We love having all the participants at the meeting. It would be great to have people confirm their membership interest. If you can contribute economically, as we saw in the message earlier, it's great, and it's what's helping us keep going, because as we probably, all know, we've been involved in a lot of different initiatives. I'm sure all of us in a lot of different capacities. It's very hard to keep something like this going if you don't have somebody keeping track of the members, the priorities, the activities, the meetings, the minutes, the networking, meeting this person, wanting to know about that person, all of those things that go on behind the scenes and during. It's a lot of work. So this is a very, very, very concise summary of our resources at this point. We managed to have a slight surplus in 2023, and we have around 18,000 Canadian dollars in commitment so far from our members and supporters, with the hopes of having another significant support this year from OCB. And what that goes to pay for is primarily the secretariat and this year in-person meeting expenses that we might have in Montreal, interpretation, which I hope some of you are using today. Just a small parenthesis on interpretation. We had conducted a survey about 6 months ago, asking people their language preferences. And based on people's responses in terms of, maybe it's not their native language, but the language that they could follow the meeting in, it seemed like English and Spanish would cover pretty much everybody's needs. So I'm sorry to the Brazilian contingency that we've removed Portuguese this time, But based on everybody's responses, it seemed like the most cost-effective and efficient way to go forward with just English and Spanish for now. If that becomes a problem, please, anybody feel free to write me a message and let me know. Getting back to our contributions, we do have also some in-kind contributions, a portion of the Secretariat provided by Eurixe, some of the back office services provided by St. Mary's. And if there's anything that you think that your organizations, institutions, universities could provide that might be useful, then, please let me know by all means. Do we have any questions about the administrative or priorities or any feedback on any of that? No, I'm not seeing, for some reason, I'm not seeing all of I'm not seeing the chat anymore that I'm in. I'm going to stop my sharing. Okay, I see that there's already some sharing that went on during I'm just checking my messages here. There was some nice sharing that went on during the breakout groups, so that's great. Okay, so if there's no questions about anything so far, let's go ahead and move on to the reports from the topic-focused meeting. Unfortunately, Mario Rodrigan could not be here today. He's had a class that was moved to this time frame and wasn't able to switch it. So I'm gonna give you some of the updates from the Pedagogical Resources Group, but I would love to invite Leire to talk about evaluation first, to give me to give you all a break from me for a moment. And so we'll let the evaluation and the short courses groups report back, and then I'll come back to tell you about the pedagogical resources. So Leire, if you could just give us a brief update about how the evaluation group went, and then we can turn it over to Fabio and Roberto for the presentation about the SPEC software.
Roberto is here. Roberto, está por aquí? It's okay in the room?
Yes, I'm here
Okay, perfect.
and ready.
Thank you very much, colleagues. I only introduced Roberto. He has a company. He explained to all. We work together in this field to education evaluation for use this kind of methodology based on artificial intelligence and the attributes of behavior and different promoting different attributes of behavior in the educational process. And I introduce Roberto. He's a specialist in this field and working a long time and working for others educational institutions in Brazil. And please, Roberto, beginning your presentation, because I think we use better our time. Thank you.
Okay. I think I need a share screen permission. Is it possible?
Okay, yes, sorry, give me 1 second. And now that I've taken the floor back for 1 second, just Leire can come back after this presentation to tell you more about the general evaluation meeting, but this idea about presenting the SPEC software came out of that topic group. But so Leire, maybe after the presentation, you come back and say a few words, if that's okay.
Yo creo que es mejor. No, yo creo que,
Okay.
bueno, brevemente creo que es mejor antes para contextualizar, pero no importa, puedo hacerlo después también.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Sí, es muy brevemente, solamente para las personas que no participaron en este taller de evaluación, bueno, simplemente contextualizar. El taller se realizó el 29 de noviembre del año pasado y las cuestiones que se abordaron fueron básicamente 4, ¿no? Una fue sobre evaluar el trabajo individual o el trabajo colectivo, ¿no? O sea, había diferentes formas de evaluar a los alumnos. Otra cuestión que se abordó fue el tema de cómo hacer la autoevaluación del alumno-alumna o la evaluación por pares, ¿no? El peer-to-peer. Una tercera cuestión que se mencionó y que se abordó en esa sesión fue el tema de la evaluación continua, ¿no? Cómo hacer una evaluación no solo puntual o al final de cada módulo, cada curso, cada formación, sino que una evaluación de forma más continuada. Y luego también la cuarta cuestión que se abordó fue el tema de la evaluación de la participación de los alumnos, alumnas en los diferentes foros, sesiones síncronas o que hubiese en las formaciones básicamente online, ¿no? Y entonces a raíz de eso surgió eso, ¿no? Pues sobre todo relacionado con las evaluaciones cuando son con muchos alumnos, alumnas, ¿no? Cuando son cursos más masivos, pues qué mecanismos de evaluación podía haber, ¿no? Y a partir de ahí surgió pues, bueno, la propuesta de que Unimed presentara el software que ellos tienen, ¿no? para la evaluación. Yo creo que con esto es para contextualizar un poco de qué se habló en esa reunión y bueno, pues, dónde se ubica un poco la propuesta de Unimed.
Thank you, Leire. Okay, Roberto, you should have permission to share your screen now. You can go ahead. Thank you. Roberto, you're muted.
First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Fabio for this invite and all of you for this invite too. Unfortunately, I have a nose surgery some days ago and my voice is very strange. So please understand that. In just 1 hour, I'll go to the hospital to take the stitches out and I will be free again. I have my nose back. So let's go. I think I have 15 minutes, is it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, let's go.
The screen is black?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not black.
Okay.
No. Okay. So what's Co-operative? Co-operative is the name of our company. And I have to explain, it's important to explain what's Co-operative mean. What does it mean? And Co-operative deals with technology, high impact technology. And we can explain that for you with our symbol, okay? First of all, we have this part of the symbol, it means technology. So for us, working with any kind of problems in the companies and schools is a question of technology. So we are a technology company. Second, it's pervasive. The word kukak from the Hungarian language means at the same time this symbol and means a snail too. Okay, so it's very similar, snail and the arroba symbol. And the reason to pay attention for a snail is that it's pervasive. In the very beginning, since 2011, I've been repeating here in Brazil that artificial intelligence was a different technology because it was pervasive. It will be in all of the things we do in a company, in a school. And because of that, we had to pay special attention to it. And snails are pervasive. I do a lot with plants, and when we find a snail in a garden, for example, we have a lot of job to take them out because they go everywhere. And thirdly, it's important to talk about time, velocity. So we deal with technology, pervasive technology, high impact technology, and it must be as rapid as possible. This is COCAC, and all of the time we talk about artificial intelligence for life. It's very important, a very important concept, because we use all of the social, the big technology are using too, but we are trying to use it for life, delivering for the individual the information about him, so that this guy can become a better individual in the future. Our platform is named ICBEC, and here you have to explain again. First of all, when you look in a beach, for example, you look at very similar, a very constant image. All of the sand parts looks the same. So all of them look for us the same, but they are not the same. They have different colors. And if you look in a microscope, they have different formats. Some are big, some are small. So it looks like they were the same. In a co-op, for example, all of the guys at principal, they look the same, but they are not the same. SPEC deals with that. We try to understand the individual first, and we try to understand the groups. I will try to present you with a single film in English so that we can explain it better. Let's try it. So let's understand it better right now.
Roberto, we couldn't hear the sound of the video.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe you can just tell us briefly.
Okay, I will explain. Once again, it talks about the fact that in a company or in a school, everybody looks like the same, but we are not the same. We are different. We have different expectations with that. We have different feelings, and ICBEC deals with the understanding of a guy, a unique individual, and how it can be included in groups, and how we can manage these groups to get results, individual results and group results. I will explain it better right now. First of all, we have to understand the individual. We use psycholinguistics and psychometrics to understand the individuals. So all of the times we deal with linguistics to understand this guy. You have to say or to write a piece of linguistics so that you can analyze it using artificial intelligence. The combination of psycholinguistics and psychometrics, it's very old, something, the first use of it was made with Freud in the very early 19th. And really, we can do it without technology. But when we put artificial intelligence, we can do it with big speed to understand the individual, some seconds to understand it. And we produce 67 different charts of each individual divided in 3 big psychometric theories by Big Five interests and values. The second part is to understand the group. We have different ways to understand the groups. For example, if you have an expected way of doing with clients, for example, here in Brazil, we've done it to Nissan. They're trying to convert their vendors in people who are really interested in their clients, a vendor oriented to the clients. So we studied this profile, okay? It's a scientific study. We defined it using Big Five theory, which charts may help these guys to be good vendors in this way. And then we create a profile. So we know exactly what we will expect, and we will discover if the individual is included in that group. But we can use personas too. It's a different way of analyzing. For example, in a co-op, all the time I can ask for information like, do our members have the same way of looking to the life? They have a similar feeling, similar charts. How many groups we have inside the cup? Okay, so the constructions of personas can help us to understand the charts of these groups and then start the possibility to deal with these groups with oriented studies, oriented formation. And at least we have macro profiles when we can combine this kind of charts with any kind of order charts, for example, health charts. We can understand if that kind of group had another charts in health. For example, they have cardiac problems, or for example, when we deal with schools, we can understand about the familiar situation of that individual, and then we can combine these with the social emotional charts. So at least what we do is understand the individual in the group and the group of the individual. That's the most profound way to use SPEC. How can we, just a minute. How can we help ICBEC in different ways? I will explain how you're helping companies here in Brazil, even schools or companies at all. First of all, recruitment and selection. We do, for example, using Cisco. Cisco, for many years, are using our technology to select people to work for them, but they do it using at the same time the technical charts of the individual together with the social emotional charts of the individual. So they have a very specific kind of recruitment and selection. We do it for our company, SPEC, we do it for Senai here in Brazil. So SPEC is a very good platform for recruitment and selection. Second, in education, we can train employees or co-op members with specific factual and social-emotional profiles. Once I know that one guy is included in a group, I can direct for him content for for this guy to be developed, even in social-emotional way or technical way. Sorry, we can help you in research. For example, in SEBRAE here in Brazil, we are conducting research to understand the profiles of the entrepreneur in Brazil. We have different kinds of entrepreneurs throughout the country, in the north, in the south, in some special economy sectors in the economy. So the research for understand this guy and to start developing special ways to train this guy, it's very important too. And at least, just a minute, specialized profiles like we've done with Cisco. We can understand what you want in a co-op, for example, for management profiles, entrepreneurship profiles, leaderships. We do special profiles in leadership with Fundação Dom Cabral here in Brazil, strategists, innovators, even in special occupations, for example, engineers, vendors, and things like that. So the construction and the understanding of these specialized profiles can help you to understand how to deal with them in the future, like we are done with Cisco right now. SPEC family is really big. For example, we have today a SPEC store. We can use SPEC in a unique way, buying the profiles just in a store. AWSA is a platform to customize SPEC for your needs. It can be translated, it can be changed, the information can be changed, and you use a SPEC in an API mode. We have a platform for distance learning, SPEC EAD. It's a distance learning platform. SPEC jobs, macro profiles. We have champs. Champs is very interesting because we are using SPEC in sports, in football teams here in Brazil, for example, and probably in basketball teams too. We are starting to use facts too, because understanding the guy in a social emotional way is different for understand the facts which they describe in his curriculum. So we're starting doing it, facts about the guy, for example, for Sebrae. So we have a very big group of solutions which may help you with your needs. Here we have some of the companies who are helping today in Brazil. Some ones are very known throughout the world. For example, Fundação Dom Cabral, Sebrae, Cisco, and Nissan, and others. And what you will get using SPEC? First of all, scale. SPEC can deal with lots. For example, we have a project right now which will deal with even 250,000 of guys of school members to understand how they're feeling. For example, here in Brazil right now, we are having problems in the schools with some guys using guns and things like that. And the schools are very worried about the fact that we have to understand the problems of these guys before they go to the school to kill somebody. And we are starting a project to have a prior diagnosis of a guy to become violent, to have some social risk, and understand this guy. And we have to do with scale, with velocity. As I told you, a SPEC can produce the results with seconds of analysis because of the artificial intelligence. With precision, because we can all of the time correct our models to understand better and better the guys and the groups. And with low cost, we know today that SPEC can help you do this kind of job with a small part of we have to use if you have to have a team to support the guys doing the same job. So that's the reason, because SPEC can help you in your co-ops, and especially in education tasks. And if you have any kind of needs so that it can help us, we are ready to do that. Here for the ending of the presentation, just talking about the kudos, the prizes we've got in 4 or 5 years. IBM prizes here in Brazil, Latin American, and worldwide. A special prize in sports, Conafoot is a football group here in Brazil, and we have been awarded as the most important software solution for this kind of analysis in football. And most recently, we have been featured by the CEO review as a company to be analyzed in the next month. So if we can help you to introduce social emotional and facts analysis in your tasks in the future, please call us. You have my email, and we can do it through the UNIMED school too, through Dr. Fabio or any other of their guys. Once more, thank you for hearing what we have to say, and I expect to meet you in the future, in the very near future. Thank you a lot.
Roberto, thank you so much. Thank you, Fabio, as well. I think this was an overview of SPEC. It would be really interesting to know how Faculdade Unimed is using SPEC, but unfortunately, we don't have time to do that now. But I think if this is of interest to people, we can schedule another topic meeting about evaluation and perhaps look more specifically at how this is being used in a co-op business education program. But thank you so much, Roberto. I'm going to ask
Okay,
Karen.
Elena,
Sorry,
just
yeah?
a minute. I would like to help you once more. I will ask you to understand, but I have to go to the hospital now because I have to take out the stitches. And
Okay. I hope everything's okay.
okay, oh, it will be. But I would like to thank you once more, and I will be here to answer any question by email. Okay. Or
Okay.
if you have an invite for us, it will be a pleasure. Okay. Thank you
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm going to ask Karen to go ahead and give a quick update about the short and executive courses group.
Thanks, Elena. Well, there was a small group of people that met before the end of last year, I guess it was, with the idea that there was interest to convene around the idea of non-accredited coursework. So we called it executive education or professional development type programming, since that makes sense under the umbrella of business education for cooperatives. It's not always the accredited programs. It can be non-accredited that overlaps with this group and through whether it's academic institutions or not. So in brief, it was a small group that day, so I wouldn't say it represented everyone that likely has an interest. And perhaps I would just suggest that if you're on this call and that's an area you have a lot of energy around and you're doing work in that space, feel free in the chat to indicate that, and we could figure out through follow-up if we would like to have another meeting to share what we're each doing. I think that going into that meeting, one of the primary intentions was to figure out whether there are collaboration opportunities, because in most cases things are being done, but they're not being done together. And one of the main purposes of this consortium is to figure out where we can collaborate, do things together to better serve the needs of the cooperative and mutual sector. So really nothing specific or tangible coming out as a next step, except to figure out where is there energy around this among those that are doing things. Can we figure out a space where some of us might collaborate and experiment? There has been some of that done in the past. From our experience, I could say we do things with others and we collaborate, but this opportunity to broaden that and bring different groups together. So Elena, that's really all I have to say about that one for today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Karen. A good call to all of you to let us know if you do have specific interest in that, and we'll be happy to set up a group. And also topics beyond these three that we're talking about today. If there's something that you think would be useful in a smaller group side meeting, then please let us know. I'm gonna now give a quick overview of the the online pedagogical resources. I'm going to share my screen again. So hopefully you all saw that we conducted a survey about what pedagogical resources people are using for online cooperative business education, and we got 16 responses. These are the mostly universities and organizations that responded. I'm going to go pretty quickly because my goal here today is to just give you a little bit of an overview of what the responses were like, and then I would like Mario to convene another meeting of the smaller group for those who are interested in going a little bit more into detail about what these survey results mean. So of those who replied, which wasn't everybody, and the survey is still open, so if you'd like to still give your response, you can. And I'll try to get the link into the chat later, but I don't have it on me right this second. But so of the 16 that replied, these here are the ones who have this first question was about online postgraduate programs. So these are the ones that were raised in the survey, a few master's and graduate certificates. So there are, even after long before and after the pandemic, definitely postgraduate courses. And I know some of you would have others to add. And then these are the courses, not programs, but just courses on cooperative business education within other degree programs. So there's management of cooperatives, there's nonprofit governance and leadership, and cooperative governance. These were the ones that were raised. Then we went and looked at undergraduate courses. So who is offering undergraduate online courses specifically in cooperative business education? And you can see here OCB, University of Santiago, Université Laval, and Facultad Unimed highlighted some of their courses. And continuing education or vocational training, we have a bit more on that level. Cooperativa Vega Real, University of Santiago. Hopefully you can read them here on the screen, and we'll share these slides as well so you can look at it in more depth. We also asked what kind of resources are people using. So how do they conduct these courses? What types of materials and resources do they use in their courses? So a lot of presentations, YouTube videos, and PowerPoints, both asynchronous and synchronous lessons. NCBA CLUSA, who Camila had to leave, but they have a software that they've developed. Actually, this co-op business is, it's not NCBA CLUSA, I'm sorry, but they do also have
it's we're from Brazil that we developed the business simulation.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. And we also asked which platforms are people using. So the ones on the left are the ones commercially available, and the ones on the right are the ones that organizations have made on their own, so proprietary platforms. NCBA CLUSA, Cooperativa Vega Real, Universidad Federal de Paraná, and Université Laval have their own softwares. And if that would be of interest to people, maybe a future idea could be that they present these and let us know how it's going, and maybe compare between the ones that are available either commercially or open source and these ones. That could be something that people are interested in. And then we asked whether there are already collaborations between universities or organizations, and there were just 4 that responded so far. OCB, again, Santiago, has a master's with University of Valencia. Facultad Unimed, Fabio, if you're still here, I wasn't sure what Feluma is, so I wasn't sure what kind of collaboration that is. And also NCBA CLUSA has
Peluma is another university, a Brazilian university here, Lana,
Ah,
that
okay,
we can
okay.
share the course with them.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. And then just to give you a sense of some of the general feedback, some tried to do some online courses during COVID and then went back to in presence. Some are still doing both. There's the co-op simulation software that we talked about a second ago. Some links to some videos and some ideas for how to expand some of the knowledge sharing about ICBEC also in the United States. So thank you to everybody for your contributions to the survey. I know that Rafael has to leave, so I'm not gonna open it to questions just yet. Maybe we can get those at the tail end if there are any, but I wanna make sure that Rafael has a chance to speak before he has to go. So Rafael, if you could share a little bit about the Global Innovation Cooperative Summit, that would be fabulous.
Yeah, 1 sec. Oops.
Oh, I need to stop my, oh, okay, you did it.
Is it working?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So thank you, Ilana. One moment, how to get this big. Okay, so yeah, so this is just about this Global Innovation Corp Summit that is scheduled in September in Montreal. This is something organized by a team of organizers from France, Canada, and Brazil, and they have asked us to host the event in at HEC Montreal. And we are currently planning this also with the support of St. Mary's University, Université de Laval, and Kerala University to organize an interesting Global Innovation Co-op Summit. And basically, in the discussions as the kind of main 3 themes emerged: circular economy, digital transformation, and the principle of intercooperation. So the topics and discussions will be around these 3 themes, with overlaps and of course some additions, but that's kind of the main focus of this conference. And it's organized around keynotes, plenary sessions, and then especially hand-on workshops, but trying to learn tools and stuff like this. And then of course there will be side events depending on who is coming and what people want to do. And across these 3 main themes, there will be a lot of education. Digital education for co-ops is actually a workshop. There's a toolbox for circularity strategies. So I think it will be lots of discussion opportunities around the topic of co-op education too. And so that, one moment, I'm gonna try here to get to the next slide. So our one moment. So our invitation really to here to the network is to say if this could not be a nice opportunity to meet really in person, which can make a difference for working together. Participate together in the various workshops of the summit, but before that have also a network meeting ideally in the afternoon before the conference starts, which would be a kind of get together, know each other meeting. But of course, depending on what's the interest, it could also add a more specifically education-oriented workshop. In our breakout room before, we talked about a little bit about case studies. So for example, our university has a case study center with a case study journal. So it could also be possible to have a workshop with somebody who gives an overview how case studies are written. We have 2 people who are professionals on for this. Then not about co-ops, but in general, but they could give a session, on how to do case study writing and this kind of stuff. But this would be seen on the interests of the members. But so essentially our invitation to you is to think, would this be nice to have a pre-event on the afternoon before? And then, of course, you're invited to join the workshop on these 3 topics. And yes, we would be very happy to have you there. And if you have any questions to me or to Sonia and Karen, this would be the moment right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rafael. I hope that you'll all be able to join us. Does anybody have any questions so far about anything, the summit or anything else so far? Okay, I wanted to just take a couple minutes. Okay, Anu asked if there's already a more specific program.
Yes, it's online. It's available from this homepage. One moment, I'll just put it in the chat. So basically the preliminary program is there, and I think at the end of this month they wanted to put the detailed program online, as far as I recall. But you see already some information on this preliminary program.
Okay, thank you. So one way where we can communicate whether we're going to be attending or not is through the Lumio platform. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it. I know that the ICA uses, Alexandra is familiar with it. The ICA uses it with some groups. We actually used this back in the first iteration of the ICBEC consortium back in 2013. And some of you are members of this group since then in the Lumio group, but we talked in the working group about trying to find a way for us to share news, events, and we thought this would be a way to do that. So instead of creating the usual, monthly newsletter that somebody has to put together, gather everything, we can just contribute directly in here. So I just wanted to show you very quickly what it's about, and then I can send out a more detailed email to all of you, specifically, giving you the link, inviting you to the group. But if you want to go ahead and go look for it on lumio.com, you can just look for the International Cooperative Business Education Consortium. And what it allows us to do is have conversations. So, for example, the ones you see here, they're specifically tagged, and we can make more tags if these aren't totally useful, but these are the ones that I thought might be relevant to start with. So you can start a thread. So if I just wanted to start a new conversation, I can do that here and put in a tag. So am I sharing news about an event? Am I sharing news about a training or education opportunity? Is it a request? Like, does anybody know of any case studies about whatever? A call for papers for a journal or a conference, resources, funding opportunities. There's a project that we're trying to do. Is anybody interested in this? Or general discussion. What do you all think about student evaluation? And so you can start a thread. You can also go to other threads. So here's one that I started about events and conferences, the Global Innovation. Oh, I spelled it wrong. I'll have to go back and fix that. The Cooperative Summit, and I opened a poll. So do you plan to attend the Global Innovation Cooperative Summit in Montreal? And all of you could become members of this group, go in and say, yes, I'll be there, I'm not sure, or no, I can't be there. And you can add comments. You can start your own poll. There's a lot of things we can do with this platform. We can add files, which I didn't add any yet. We can also, if it becomes useful in the future, add subgroups. So do we want to have a specific subgroup that's talking about student evaluation? We can have it here. I think that you can see all the members. I'm not sure if that's just because I'm an admin, but I think you can also go in and see all the members. And so I thought instead of sharing news at the end of today's meeting, we could go ahead and put it directly into here. But we have 2 or 3 minutes still left. If you have questions about Lumio or want to share a quick news, because it might take time to get to join in on Lumio and get everybody in there, then I'd be happy to open up the floor now. And I see that Alexandra has a question, so go ahead.
Yes, just a quick question. I assume that we need to be invited into this Lumio group and that you or someone else will do that soon, correct?
I think, yes, so it goes two ways. Either I can specifically invite everybody, and that probably is the easiest thing to do, to send an email with the invitation link. You can also go in and just request to join, and then I receive that notification and let you into the group. But I'll send the link.
Please share the web address for us.
Yes.
The Lumio address.
Yes, I will do that. Give me 1 second. I can give you the invitation link. No, actually, I don't think it's a specific invitation link. Sorry, I'm coming with that right now. Here. Does this seem like something that would be useful? Does it seem like something you'd be happy to use? Anybody who's already using it, find it to be a good platform or have feedback about it?
It's handy, yeah. For me, it's familiar, so using it for another group, yes, I'm certainly open to that, as opposed to, you know, learning some other platform that I don't know yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward to use.
Okay. Yeah, I find it pretty straightforward. I've used it a little bit with the ICA, and then it's changed only slightly since we used it way back when. But it also, you know, it's cooperatively developed and owned, so that's a nice aspect of it. Makes us feel a little bit better about using it. And they're very responsive. I've been back and forth with the customer service and everything, so I think it's going to be a good option for us, and I hope you'll all use it and share news right away. So I see people have to go, and we're getting right down to the time. So are there any burning questions before we say bye? You can also put them into a Lumio thread and we can answer directly there. All right. Well, so everyone has to go. I think one by one we're trailing off. So we'll close it at that. Thank you so much to everybody. I really hope you can make it in September to the summit. And please feel free to send any questions or comments along. And we'll see you at the next meeting.
Thank